In this section, we will have a look at templates in Ember. We will start by visiting the Handlebars templating library, which is used to create templates in Ember. Then we will have a look at conditionals and iterations, in which we will see how we can control the output using conditionals. Thirdly, we will have a look at transitions in Ember, in which we will also build a navigation menu for our application. Then we will have a look at actions in Ember. And lastly, we will look at helpers, which is once again in tune with keeping the logic out of templates. So let us get started with Handlebars and Logicless templates. In this video, we will look at defining logic or bindings in our controller. We will then be introduced to the Handlebars templating engine, and lastly, we will see how data bindings work in Ember. In a normal Ember application, the templates reside under app templates, as we have seen. And each of the template will have the extension of .hvs for handlebars. All dynamic content is rendered using the double curly braces in a handlebars template, and the content is generated from a corresponding context file, which under most normal circumstances would be the corresponding controller. For example, application.hvs would have the corresponding controller application.js. Similarly, any other route that we create would have a corresponding controller file which would provide the context for that particular template. The main benefit of using the Handlebars templating engine is that it forces the developer to keep the logic out of the template. Apart from the context file, the controller, we can also use helpers to help us keep the logic out of the template. The other thing to note is that the content displayed on templates is bound using data binding. For example, let us create a property called welcome text, which will have the value of welcome, I'm your expense buddy. Let us use double quotes to wrap it, since we already have a single quote over here. Now, if we visit our page in the browser and outputting the controller to the console, we set the welcome text property to something else. Say, for example, hello there. We see that the DOM has been automatically updated with the new content. There are also a couple of development related helpers that are provided by Handlebars in Ember. For example, we could use something like log line items, and that would output the line items array to the log so that we can inspect it in case of any problems. And the other helper is the debugger, which will automatically trigger a pause in the execution. And we can also see in the generated code that the context has been assigned to this variable called context. So we can go to the console and use the variable context to be able to get the current context. So we could do something like context.get welcome text, and so on. These helpers come in very handy to be able to debug our application quickly. And thus we have had a quick overview of the Handlebars templating engine. In conclusion, we defined bindings in a controller, and then we had a look at handlebars, and lastly we also had a look at